Welcome to English Without Fear. I'm Maria, and today I'm going to tell you a story about a famous female American. So sit back, relax, and just try to understand as much as you can from what you hear and what you see. I love stories about people and hearing how courageous they have been, and I hope you do too. Today I'm going to tell you about Harriet Tubman. She was an American who lived a long time ago. She was born as a slave into a family in Maryland, and Maryland is a state in America. And a slave is a person who belongs to somebody else. That is not right. My name is Harriet Tubman. I lived over 100 years ago in the United States. I was born to a slave mother in 1822 in the state of Maryland. Slaves had a very difficult life. Some of them belonged to kind masters, masters who treated them well, but others belonged to mean men and women, men who would beat them or whip them or knock them around. And Harriet had masters like that. In fact, one time, one of them threw a hard object, and the object hit Harriet's head. It hurt her head greatly, and she suffered a lot all her life. Life is so hard. My masters whip me. It's not fair. And one of them hit me on the head. Look at all this red blood. I feel dizzy. Life got so hard for Harriet that she decided to run away. When she was about 27 years old, she ran and escaped to Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia is a city in the state of Pennsylvania in America. And at this time, the 19th century, Pennsylvania was a free state. A free state was a state where nobody owned any slaves. It was thought very bad and wrong to own another person. So Harriet escaped to Pennsylvania for safety. I have to leave. I have to get out of here. This is a dangerous place. I will leave here and head north to a free state. As soon as Harriet made it safely to Philadelphia, she realized she had to go back to Maryland to rescue her family. She could not live free in Philadelphia knowing that her family was back in Maryland as slaves. Oh, I have to go back for my family now that I know the way to freedom. So Harriet traveled back to Maryland to rescue her family. She went back 2 or 3 times to get a few members of her family and travel slowly to freedom. She was very brave, very courageous, and faced her fears with God's help.
Don't be scared, but do be quiet and watch out for bad men who will return us to our masters. Shh!
But Harriet did not stop just with her family. She kept going back to Maryland and other slave states to rescue more people. In fact, she rescued so many people that soon people were calling her Moses. Now, Moses was a Hebrew, strong and courageous man of God who led his people out of Egypt when they had been slaves for 400 years. Harriet claimed, she said, that of all the people she rescued, she did not lose even one person. Whoa, what a woman.
People say I'm like Moses. Maybe in a small way I am. Moses led thousands of his people out of slavery in Egypt across the desert toward the promised land.
Harriet kept going back to rescue more and more people that she became famous. So famous that some bad men in the southern slave states put together some money, $40,000, which back in the 19th century was an enormous amount of money. They put together this money as a reward for anybody who would capture or kill Harriet Tubman. This reward was called a bounty.
People say I did dangerous work. And I'll say, yes, rescuing slaves is risky, but the Lord has always helped me.
Harriet did many other important things. In fact, she worked as a nurse in hospitals. She also was a spy, and she helped women get the vote. When she died in 1922, she was honored. She was extolled. People said good things about her, white people and black people. But you know, she continued to suffer and be in pain all her life because of the man who had thrown the hard object that hit her head.
Harriet Tubman is an American hero. She deserves to be honored in her death. We must not forget, freedom costs a lot.
Well, I hope you enjoyed learning something about Harriet Tubman, one of America's heroes. She was very brave and faced her fears with the help of God, leading many, many people to freedom. Well, that's all for this episode, and I will look forward to talking with you next time. This is Maria from English Without Fear.
When you have a question about learning English, just write me an email at this address. I've been teaching people how to speak English and French for 26 years.